Welcome to Elaine Clark VO Real Talking Tips, where it's all about communication. I'm the author of There's Money Where Your Mouth Is, a complete insider's guide to earning income and building a career in voiceovers, and voiceovers for podcasting, how to develop a career and make a profit. I'm also the creator of 2 Elaine Clark apps, Activate Your Voice, 5-minute exercises to strengthen your speaking voice, and Adding Melody to Your Voice, speech improvement instruction and workout. This first series of micro-learning lessons is 52 weeks, so subscribe and tune in each week to Real Talking Tips for a new communication lesson. Episode 18. Add tempo changes and vary your sentence structure. Listeners need time to process what you're saying. Words. We love them and hate them. Words can be meaningless or powerful depending on how the message is presented. Hi, I'm Elaine Clark with Real Talking Tips, offering practical advice on how to effectively get your message across and speak like a pro. I've coached thousands of business professionals, news and sportscasters, influencers, podcasters, and voice actors over the past 40 years. While the content and style of each of their messages may vary, the techniques are the same. Communication is a powerful tool if you're in sales, making a presentation, hosting a podcast, being interviewed, recording a voiceover script, or talking to friends. You can always find ways to improve the way you speak, connect with the audience, and sound real and believable. The power of silence in the message format and structure. Let's start with the format and structure of the message. There are 3 sections: setup, body, and resolve. The setup establishes the problem. The body acknowledges the problem and offers solutions. The resolve summarizes the benefits and suggests that the audience take action. That action can be to go to a store, look at a website, purchase or sell something, tell a friend, explore other options, calm down, travel, accept changes, or a whole array of other choices. Silence is golden, right? But people are afraid of the sound of silence and taking short speech breaks. Yet silences are necessary for the audience to absorb and process what was just said. Silences don't mean that the speaker take a time out and disengage from the audience. Quite the contrary. Those brief silences are necessary in order to change the airflow and shift emotions during the transitions between each of the 3 speaking segments: setup, body, and resolve. When the emotional shift of silence occurs, the body has a chance to connect with a message on a deeper level. Try this example with me. Hold your hands up and tighten them into fists. The tension in the fists represents the problem in the setup. Now, relax the fists and open the hands. This opening up and tension release in the body section of the message knocks down the problem and relieves the tension. Now, flip the hands over so the palms face up and gesture out to the audience or in toward yourself. Say the 3 message section descriptions with the corresponding gestures: setup, body, resolve. If you did it properly, there would have been a little bit of silence between these words as the air and emotion shifted to match the tension, shift to relaxation, and positive movement forward. This vertical message transition is called the arc of the story. How a silent emotional transition creates a story arc. As you might have surmised in the Real Talking Tips podcast, physicality is the foundation of my communication and voiceover coaching approach. The use of physical movements, gestures, and breathing can open up and access the speaker's emotions, history, and authority so their point of view and personality can be shared with the audience. Logical thought, while necessary, usually takes care of itself with minor editing, clarity, and item order placement adjustments. I guess that's why I love Mark Twain's quote, "I apologize for such a long letter. I didn't have time to write a short one." While some speakers and politicians can use the fist and open hand presentation approach with great success, it doesn't always match all message styles. So here's a simpler and less dramatic way to achieve the same emotion-filled silence transitions between the setup and body and the body and resolve. Angle one shoulder forward on the setup. Move that shoulder back and square it off with the other shoulder for the body. And move the opposite shoulder forward for the resolve. Try this with me now. One shoulder forward. Both shoulders even. Opposite shoulder forward. If your mouth was slightly open, air should have quietly entered through your mouth as you shifted shoulder positions. I've been using this technique for so long that I tend to smile on the final movement too. Now, here's your Real Talking Tips Episode 18 homework assignment. I'm going to read a short script that I wrote, shifting my shoulders at the transitions. Then I want you to read it using this technique. You can find the script in the Episode 18 blog page of my website, elaineclarkvo.com/podcast, or in my book, There's Money Where Your Mouth Is. Listen to the technique and how it supports the story arc. I'll start with one shoulder forward now. I've got a problem. I think I'm becoming an ice cream snob. But I ask you, who cares about those franchise flavors like granola peanut supreme and Hungarian chocolate when you can buy a Creamy Delight bar? You don't just eat a Creamy Delight, you savor it. If you haven't experienced a Creamy Delight, you wouldn't understand. So what are you waiting for? Pick up a Creamy Delight and become an ice cream connoisseur like me. Now, it's your turn. I encourage you to keep improving your speech communication by watching this YouTube video, listening to the podcast, and reading the Real Talking Tips blog. Please take a moment to like, download, share, tweet, pin, ring the bell, or follow. It would be great if you'd add a positive review or comment too. As part of the Real Talking Tips community, let's work together to improve speech communication. Thanks for joining me on the Real Talking Tips podcast. To find out more, check out my books and apps and visit my website, elaineclarkvo.com. Let's stay in touch. Become part of the Real Talking Tips community. Hit the subscribe button and use #RealTalkingTips, #ElaineClarkVO. You can also follow me on Twitter @ElaineClarkVO, Instagram ElaineClark.VO, and Facebook Elaine Clark Apps and Books. And don't forget to practice. It's all about communication. Go ahead, click the subscribe button.